Welcome to the regular Faroese News Report. Today, we're covering important updates, starting with our news segments. Faroe Islands wage growth, trends and disparities, no need for stimulus, Economic Council warns against overheating, mayoral checkmate, administration's grip on Tórshavn, when Tórshavn said no thanks to the grind, and immigration costs, a call for financial clarity.
And following those, we'll move to our opinion pieces, including Denmark's dangerous anti-Israel stance, Faroe's self-determination, a call for independence, Faroe's sovereignty, a celebration of self-determination, and finally, the consultative referendum of 1946.
Okay, let's start with those wage figures. 13.4 billion DKK paid out over the last year. That sounds like a lot.
It is, and it represents a 6.8% increase compared to the year before. That's an extra 855 million DKK, continues a trend we've seen.
Right, a steady climb. And what about the average person? What's the monthly salary looking like?
In August, the average was 34,352 DKK.
Okay. But does that growth apply evenly? Who's seeing the biggest gains?
Well, there's a definite disparity. Men received over 60% of that recent growth. Their average monthly salary is 39,722 DKK.
And for women?
It's 28,602 DKK. So yeah, it's a 28% gap compared to men's average.
That's significant.
Yeah.
Any positive signs in that data?
There's one interesting point. Women's average wage actually grew a bit faster year on year, 4.5% versus 3.5% for men. Though we have to remember that doesn't account for working hours.
I see. And industry-wise? Any standouts?
Oh, definitely. Bottom trawling and fishing saw a huge jump, 157 million DKK more, which is a 50% increase in wages for that sector.
50%, okay. And public sectors?
Also growing. Health and social services up 134 million, over 7%. Public administration and defense, similar growth, over 7% as well, but 121 million DKK.
So a growing economy overall, but that brings us to the Economic Council's warning. They seem worried.
Yes, they are. They're projecting national treasury deficits of 390 million DKK in 2025 and 375 million in 2026.
And that's just the national level.
Right. Add municipal deficits, another 240 million projected for 2025. That brings the total public deficit to over 2% of GDP.
Which, during a boom time, is not ideal.
Exactly. The council says public authorities are basically stimulating an already booming economy. They call it pro-cyclical fiscal policy, and it risks overheating.
Overheating? What does that mean in practical terms for, businesses and households?
It means higher prices for businesses trying to operate. It makes public construction projects more expensive. And for households, it can mean higher housing costs. It just adds pressure.
So the recommendation is?
Counter-cyclical policy. Basically, tighten the belt a bit during the good times so you have room to maneuver when things slow down. Save now, spend later if needed.
Okay, let's shift gears to Tórshavn. There's been some controversy involving the mayor and the administration regarding a pilot whale hunt, the grind.
Yes, Councilmember Anne Finn Breckstein used the term checkmated to describe the situation with Mayor Elsa Berg.
What's behind that?
A press release from the municipality itself confirmed it. The administration discussed the matter internally and recommended against accepting whale catch from a specific hunt. The mayor was then informed.
So Breckstein sees this as the administration overstepping, acting without political direction.
That seems to be his interpretation, yeah. He framed it as a loss of democratic control and an insult to the whale hunters and citizens by refusing the catch.
And there's more context to this specific hunt, right? Valentina Krast wrote about it.
There is. It was the 10th hunt this year, near Fuglafjara. The initial estimate was maybe 60, 70 whales, but it turned out to be, well, over 400 sighted.
Over 400?
Yes, and 285 were eventually killed. The district commissioner, Jacob Vestergaard, even stated he probably wouldn't have approved the hunt if they'd known the scale beforehand. There were also concerns raised about sort of chaotic conditions during the hunt itself.
So why did Tórshavn refuse the catch then? Was it just the scale?
The article speculates a bit. It suggests maybe their freezers were already full from other recent hunts. Tórshavn had participated in others. It raises a question, perhaps, about overconsumption.
Interesting. Any numbers on how much meat that actually is?
Well, if you take the 931 whales and dolphins killed this year, the calculation suggests about 11 kilograms of edible meat per Faroese person. It's spread evenly across all 55,000 people.
Okay. But not everyone eats it regularly.
Right. For the estimated 13% who eat whale meat weekly, it works out to about 84 kilograms per person per year. The article also touches on the known concerns about mercury and PCB levels.
And there was a financial angle mentioned too.
Yes, a city council member calculated the value of that particular grind at around 5 million DKK. That brought up questions about potential commercialization creeping in.
Lots of layers there. Now, moving to immigration, MP Aidis Hartman-Nicholson is calling for a pause. What's her reasoning?
Her main point is financial responsibility. She argues that before expanding work and residence permit schemes further, there needs to be a clear understanding of the costs,
Costs
like administration, integration programs, pressure on daycares, schools, healthcare, even child welfare services. She points out that Denmark does these kinds of analyses, but the data isn't readily available yet here.
Why isn't the data available?
Primarily because the Faroese authorities only took over the immigration processing system on September 1st, 2024. Statistics Faroe Islands is apparently working on integrating data from the immigration office now. Nicholson stresses it's about responsible planning, not being inherently for or against foreign labor.
Got it. Okay, let's turn to the opinion pieces. First, Oliver E. Beatty on Denmark's stance towards Israel.
Yes, he's quite critical of the Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen. Specifically, Rasmussen's reported suggestion that Denmark, maybe even the EU, could temporarily cancel a trade agreement with Israel because of the conflict in Gaza.
When E. Beatty sees this as dangerous?
He calls it dangerous for Denmark itself. He argues it risks damaging the historical respect Denmark earned, particularly during the rescue of Jewish citizens in World War II. Another writer, Svenning of Lofty, supports this view and even brings in biblical prophecies about nations turning against Israel.
Okay. Staying with Oliver E. Beatty, he also wrote about Faroe's self-determination and the WTO.
Right. He discussed the Section 6 Home Rule Committee's conclusion about potential Faroese WTO membership. The committee found that, yes, WTO rules could allow autonomous regions like the Faroes to join independently.
But there's always a but.
But it can't happen without Danish government consent. E. Beatty calls this a straitjacket, arguing it effectively gives Denmark a veto and prevents true self-determination or making independent international deals.
So his solution is?
Loising. Full independence. He argues it's necessary to compete effectively with neighbors like Iceland, Norway, and the UK.
That sentiment connects to Gunnar Skuvadal's piece celebrating September 14th.
Exactly. Yeah. Skuvadal frames September 14th as the anniversary, 79 years now, of the Faroes choosing to take responsibility for their own country. He strongly believes Faroes politics should be governed from the Faroes.
Does he mention the WTO?
He does. He sort of dismisses the committee's findings, saying WTO membership is self-evident for the Faroes and doesn't need external confirmation. He also calls for taking control of Faroes airspace and keeping all locally generated income within the islands.
It's a clear call for sovereignty.
Very much so. He concludes that the 1946 decision was vital for progress and shows that the Faroes people, despite their small numbers, are capable of managing their own affairs.
Finally, Helgi Abrahamsson provides some historical context on that very 1946 referendum. What was his point?
He emphasizes that it was officially a consultative referendum. He quotes a newspaper article from just before the vote in 1946, Dagbladet, which stated it clearly.
Consultative, meaning not legally binding.
Precisely. The article even apparently encouraged people who opposed the government's specific proposal at that time to vote no, suggesting a no vote wasn't necessarily a vote against independence in principle, but against that particular plan.
And the result was?
Extremely close. So close, in fact, that it led to a new general election. In that election, the anti-independence parties actually won a majority, which then led to negotiations and ultimately the Home Rule Act we have today, rather than immediate separation. It really shows how divided opinions were.
A complex history indeed. That covers our segments for today.
Like and subscribe to PalsFundamentals for more content like this. Sources linked below.